My buddy Hoppy was let go from the show earlier this week.
Really? They hired him not, what, 4 months ago?
Yeah, about 3 months ago.
And canned him already.
Yeah.
Tell me why.
I wish I could give you the exact details of what he told me, but as of right now, it's got to stay kind of hush-hush.
A little litigious matter?
Yeah, well, I don't know if it's litigious, but I mean,
it could be litigious if we start yapping about it.
Exactly.
Right on.
And not only that, you know, when he's ready to tell his story, he can do it on his own time. You know?
Right on. Well, yeah, we don't want to end up like Miss Carmen A.
He's Carmen A. Augusta, whatever. But
Antigua.
He's got no ill will towards the show. You know, he sent out a couple of tweets saying thank you for the opportunity, and I don't really have any ill will towards the show myself, even though they did put him through hell. See, the way he got the gig was the interview process was you came in and you sat in because he was a phone screener there.
Mm-hmm.
So you would come in for a couple of days, do your thing, and while you were there, see what kind of radio you could bring.
Right.
And it was him and like 4 or 5 other people. I didn't really listen to the show. So
man, that already sounds like a mess. 3, 4, 5 people.
Maybe 3 or 4.
Well, I mean that's still a lot, though.
Right, but out of all of them, he was chosen.
Right.
And the thing was, he had a little bit of a Twitter campaign to help bring some attention to him. And there's
attention in general, good, bad, indifferent.
It was good because they started a hashtag. It was called Hire Hoppy.
Oh, all right. So cool. It was a very grassroots kind of thing, then.
Absolutely,
right on.
For the time.
Well, that's the kind of thing that can do nothing but make you feel good about yourself.
Okay, and the other thing that I believe got him hired was they embarrassed him.
Embarrassed him
in ways only radio can imagine. He was catfished, more or less.
Really?
Yeah, and I don't know if you know what catfishing is.
I know exactly what catfishing is.
Okay, well, somebody on the show pretended to be a female that had been on that show earlier that day, and he had hopes that she was going to come through to his hotel room and make sweet whoopee to him.
Ooh. Well, you know, I mean, anybody gets a little call like that, you're going to feel excited. Man.
Exactly.
I can't argue with that.
Exactly. And my young friend here, he's barely 21. He was still a virgin.
Oh, should you say that on the radio?
It's public record.
Well, then say it all you want.
And so he was major excited. And this chick was kind of hot, a little screwy in the head, but she was kind of hot.
Yeah.
And the guys at the show kind of
screwy, like sexually screwy.
No, like emotionally and psychologically.
Oh, so dangerous.
Yes, dangerous is an appropriate word.
A dangerous man-eater.
Yes, she. From what I understand, she had kids already. She was giving him a lap dance right there in the studio where she bared her assets.
And being a virgin, I'm sure he...
he was spanking her ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe had to change his pants afterwards.
Probably. Probably.
Sorry, Hoppy.
Yeah, so what the guys at the station did was lead him on a little bit by sending him emails or text messages saying that they were in fact the girl.
I see. Well, yeah, catfishing.
Right.
Of course.
Ultimately, what happens is they convince him to get naked in his hotel room, and moments later, 2 of the guys from the show bust in with high-def cameras with lights mounted on there to catch him butt-ass naked in his hotel room.
Oh, man, that is cold as ice, brother.
Cold as ice, but it made for great radio, and I think it propelled him into that job.
Okay, so he was embarrassed into a gig that any one of us would have taken.
Right.
Presented the opportunity the right way.
Let me also mention that he has been a staunch fan of this program for many a year, since he was a wee teenager, which wasn't too long before.
Yeah, really.
Maybe 7 or 8 years. This radio show
the show's been on that long, really.
Yeah, he does a yearly concert festival thing, you know, and Hoppy would drive down there to Cleveland to see this festival.
I'd say that's devotion.
It is devotion.
Yeah.
He was an encyclopedia for the show of like all the things that went on since he's been listening, all the people who came and went.
Wow, so he definitely has what you would call a ADHD focus on
For
this
the
particular show. Yeah,
Not just this show, but radio in general.
well, you know what I mean. We all need interests.
They even called him the Rain Man of radio.
I don't know if I would take that as a compliment or not, but I understand the reference.
So it wasn't. I would talk to Hoppy at least once a week, once every other week. We'd text back and forth since he's been gone.
Yeah.
And I hadn't heard nothing from him in about 2 weeks. And myself, I was trying to reach out to him to find out if I could use him as a reference for a job that I was trying to get. And I didn't hear from him.
Mm-hmm.
And this was on a Sunday. So Monday came, I sent him another text. I was like, dude, what's going on? And then St. Patty's Day rolled around, and finally I didn't hear nothing from him. So I go on the Twitter.
You go on the Twitter.
The Twitter.
The Twitter, all
the
right.
Twitter and the Facebook. That's what I call them.
I'm going to get you a walker.
With the tennis balls.
Yeah, you got to have the tennis balls. It's not a walker without the tennis balls. What are you talking about?
I thank my friend Damien for putting that in my head. But, so I didn't, like I said, I didn't hear from him.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went on the Twitter,
Yeah.
to find out what he's up to, and I sent him a direct message. I'm like, dude, what's going on? Are you pissed at me about something that I don't know about? And then I start looking at hashtags, because when you're on the radio show, you get attached into the hashtags of other things.
Okay.
Say the host of the radio show, or anybody talking about the show, talking about him in that manner.
Mm-hmm.
So you could look up like whoever's talking about him. And to my surprise, I discovered that the unofficial fan club of the show had been discussing the possibility that he had been fired from his gig.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like,
so they hadn't heard him on the radio either.
No, but they were all under the impression that he had done something the day before that might have led to his termination.
Okay.
And I was like...
And they automatically assume termination, not slight suspension, not slap on the wrist. They automatically assume termination.
Well, I guess they've been listening long enough to know the quirks and stuff of the show.
The unspoken language of the people in the tribe, right?
Absolutely. So in a sense, they may have been on to something.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, I got to know more, because I'm not hearing from this guy.
Right.
So, like I said, the unofficial fan club, I guess what I would call them, has their own radio program. They do somewhat of an after show. After the radio show ends, they go on for an hour, and they talk about what happened during the show that day.
Oh, kind of like that dork Chris Hardwick and his Talking Dead type
right,
thing. Yeah.
Right, but this is for that show. And they've got a pretty devoted following. I'd say a couple hundred people on the Twitter. They all, in all their names, they use the hashtag, the acronym for the show. And there is a guy who is the president, of course. So there is a hierarchy there.
Well, yeah.
And then there's the commandos, and then the generals.
The capo de tutti capo.
yeah, absolutely. Well, so I stumbled across one of these after shows that was discussing the Hoppy termination.
Mm-hmm.
I brought a few clips to the show because I was hoping we could talk about them.
Well, let's hear what these winners have to say.
All right. So I don't know who, other than this Joe. He apparently says that there was a co-host that was out that day. But he opens the show talking about Hoppy. So let's check it out.
All right, so this is the show I was going to do a few days ago, just a quick one. I was going to mention, remember that Wasabi beer bet or challenge that they did with Hoppy? Now, for some reason, they always harp on the amount of medication that Hoppy takes. Always. They talk about it, the different pills he takes, Rufinol and whatever else he takes. Hardcore antipsychotics, depression, antidepressant, milk of magnesia for sleeping, whatever the hell else he takes. All right? He just takes all these weird concoctions. He's taking a cocktail of heavy stuff. Now, he said that his psychologist or psychiatrist, I believe it was a psychiatrist, told him he can drink alcohol, just don't black out. Which, I mean, I don't even really know a doctor that would tell you to drink alcohol, period.
All right, that to me sounds like something I would say if I was just trying to fit in.
Yeah.
You know, I just want to be part of whatever's going on. My doctor says it's cool.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because I can't possibly see how any reasonably functioning, adult would not think to question a doctor's order, or not a doctor's order, but a doctor's allowance of liquor on such a heavy Hunter S. Thompson like dope bag.
Yeah, a heroic dose.
Yes. I mean, you know, it sounds to me like Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, man, straight through.
All right, so let's continue.
Even if you weren't taking any pills.
The next clip goes on. He continues to talk about the situation where they were making him drink the wasabi beer.
So they're always harping on Hoppy about his prescription pills and how much he takes and the amount of alcohol he drinks with them, and he can't control himself and he blacks out all the time. Now they said this the day before the wasabi beer challenge. Then they encourage Hoppy to drink on the air a 12-pack of Killian's.
Let me stop right here.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing that he takes the heroic dose of psychotropic drugs, they still encourage him to drink on the air. I don't know if that's, you know, something I would condone.
No, that sounds pretty reprehensible, but, you know, when you're talking about trying to fish for ratings on what is pretty much a dying medium, I mean, it sounds to me like you're just going to go whole hog and get whatever you can out of it.
Absolutely.
You know?
So let's continue.
And they try to make a bit out of it, which I don't understand. So you don't want him to drink, but you want him to get drunk on the air. Okay.
Ratings, yeah.
Now, to their defense, like the Rover and the guys in the show, they tried to make it undrinkable by adding wasabi powder or paste, things like that, to make it super hot so you wouldn't want to drink it. Even when he started drinking it, Charlie said, I didn't think he was going to even drink this much.
Again,
So they're always harping on Hoppy about...
Hoppy here is trying to fit in. So he's going to do what it takes to be not the pussy.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what it sounds like, but, I mean... I'm under the impression, and you know what? I don't like his wording there. To say that they put the wasabi in the beer to make it undrinkable. That's such a cop out, because everybody with a brain in their head knows that they were setting this kid up.
Not only that, I listened to the clip and they were doing it to make the beer green.
Yeah,
for St. Patty's.
You know, and get a little laugh out of the guy, you know, choking to death on wasabi.
Look at him turn red. His eyes are watering. His lips are burning.
Yeah.
Oh, ha, ha, ha. Check out whatever.com for video.
And not. I mean, obviously they overlooked the fact, too, that, you know, that could be extremely dangerous.
Dangerous enough would be the pills and the booze.
Yeah, but you couple that with a dangerous amount of something as hot as wasabi, and you're talking about maybe some kind of liability.
Yeah, what if he's allergic to wasabi,
you know?
And he don't know it because he's never had it before?
I mean, what if he can't take spicy food? This is a known condition as well.
Yeah.
You know?
Explosive diarrhea.
Yeah, at best.
All right, so Joe continues.
So that whole bit was just like a failure from the beginning, because
I agree.
Ballrag didn't go along with the bit. Ballrag was supposed to say, I forbid you to drink. You're not allowed to drink because...
Okay, Ballrag is the program director of the station that they worked at.
Is that his Christian name?
Yeah, absolutely. It's on his birth certificate. But he came in during the event and he was like, "Listen, he can do what he wants. He's a grown man." Knowing the history, the psychotropic drugs. Hey, you know, so you take what now? This and that, and you take this to sleep? No, that's actually for PTSD or some other weird mental dysfunction.
So they basically just got him in there to be some monkey boy.
Yeah, more or less, he's the go-to whipping boy. Yeah. All right, so let's continue.
At the St. Patrick's Day event for the radio show, or for the radio station, but when he came in, he's like, he's a grown adult, he's a man, he can do whatever he wants. I'm not going to tell him no. And Rover was trying to, you know, let Ballrag know, no, part of the bit is Hobby's not allowed to drink. If he drinks, for every Killian's, every beer he drinks here, he's allowed to drink one beer at the event.
How about telling
he
the
didn't
kid
understand
he
radio,
can't drink?
apparently, Ballrag. So that was kind of stupid. So now Hoppy had to drink this wasabi beer for no consequence. He was already allowed to drink at the event as much as he wanted. He had the blessing from the program director.
How about telling the guy, listen, you're still pretty green to this show. We don't want you to embarrass yourself by getting too drunk because we know you're not a seasoned veteran in that department. And there's going to be some bigwigs around. How about we just...
let this one go, maybe.
Yeah. Maybe have a beer, get friendly and cozy with the fans, do the function thing, and, we'll see where it goes over the next couple of weeks. Because this isn't going to be the last time they're out in public.
No. I mean, the mounting evidence is leading me to believe that they purposely set this guy up, but in a way...
that they couldn't be culpable.
Exactly, because I hear a lot of duplicitous wording in what these guys are talking about,
Absolutely.
man. And again, that does not absolve them of any kind of responsibility.
No.
I mean, legally, maybe, but as far as the court of human decency goes, I find this to be boom, slam dunk. You're guilty. Get out of here, man.
All the wording in the world, the lawyer talk, legalese will not get you off the hook for this. But let's continue with Joe. Maybe he's going to defend that, or we'll see.
So there was no... this is what I don't get. Everybody saw how, I don't know if he was, nervous or what. Before he even drank the wasabi beer, his hands were, shaking, just trembling. His face got beet red, and he just looked like a little boy that was nervous, just extremely nervous.
He's a young guy.
If he didn't want to do it, he should have just said... why am I going to do this? I don't want to do this. I don't feel like drinking a beer right now or drinking wasabi beer. I don't know why he just didn't stop it. If he didn't,
because for the simple fact he's trying to make a name for himself.
Yeah, and I mean, whoever this guy is shooting his yap off is, it sounds to me like he'd be the same kind of tool that would say, "Of course, guys, I'll do whatever you like. Please, just pat me on the back and be my friend."
Put anybody in that situation and see if they'd refuse.
Well, maybe not anybody.
Besides a female.
This sounds, and I feel for the guy. I feel for this friend of yours, Ryan, man. I mean, if you're listening, brother, I got to tell you, I mean, my support is fully behind you, but at the same time, I got to kind of sidle up on you and whisper in your ear like, bro, you're 21 years old, man. I mean, you got to take a stand at some point, at least for no other reason, just to preserve your self-preservation, my brother.
He needs the experience, and this is a hard lesson he's learning.
This is a hard lesson, and hopefully it sticks, my man, because you can't go through life getting kicked like that.
All right, we got a few more clips here. Let's finish with Joe, and then I want to get to a couple of callers, like I said, from the fan club themselves.
Cool.
Including the president of said club.
Oh, president, wow, man.
Yeah.
Coming up in the world, you loser.
Didn't want to do it. That's the difference between him and JLR. At least JLR will put up a little bit of a fight and say, no, I'm not going to do this, and then eventually do it. But if it's going to harm his health or he doesn't, I feel like Jeffrey just wouldn't do it.
Jeffrey is the older whipping boy.
Okay. Hoppy's dad?
Yeah.
Convincing him to do it is part of the fun. Say, okay, if you do this, we'll give you this. If this, whatever. But there was no consequences for Hoppy. I don't understand why he did it. Very weird. And then I thought he was going to have a heart attack, a mental breakdown. I don't know what was going on. And then Rover at one point, the fun of the bit was gone. Rover even said, I kind of feel bad for him. I've never heard, of all the things they've ever done to anybody on that show, I've never heard Rover say, I kind of feel bad, or not even this is grossing me out.
So why not put the kibosh on the bit in its entirety and say, look, this is probably a bad idea. Like he said, his hands were shaking. He was turning red. These are signs of
distress.
Yeah, possible conditions that could lead to medical help.
The puke, the vomit cannon. I think Rover might have said this is grossing me out. But, just weird. So the whole bit was weird. So I just didn't understand why they always harp on his medication and then they want him to drink alcohol at the station. So then, of course, they're going to let him drink at the station event, which
I don't know why.
Eventually led to his downfall, I'm assuming.
Way to go.
He didn't show up for work today, and a caller, we had a Hoppy GPS, said he was at some bar around the corner, something like that. There's a bar called Around the Corner. I think he was there with a dark-haired woman. Maybe he was going to pick up his credit card. Who knows? People leave their credit card at the bar. I don't know why he's going back down there. I don't know if the Hoppy GPS was accurate. Hoppy, and I knew something was up because he was out and about. He may have even tweeted. I don't know. He has me blocked. But he didn't call him the show. They were talking about what he did on St. Patrick's Day, but Why wouldn't they just have him on the phone? Like, if he was too ill to come in, he could still call in, unless he was suspended pending further actions. Or I don't know what the office terms are for when you're suspended pending fired.
Anybody who's worked in a corporate atmosphere would know that's probably a sign that some big deal is happening.
Yeah.
So, Joe, I don't know why you would speculate and put it out there, but it's somewhat accurate from what I know. I don't know about this bar business. Didn't really discuss that with Hoppy. But a caller chimes in, and this is one of the corporals from the fan club. So let's hear what he has to say.
Hi, you're on the air. What's your name?
What's happening, Joe?
Nothing. So how do you feel? Hoppy's gone.
Well, I have inside sources, and the Hoppy GPS was correct.
Let's remember, these guys work for the show in no official capacity. So his inside source could be the doorman.
Or just some voice in his own head.
Or maybe a homeless guy shaking a cup out front of the building. So let's
yeah, we'll use the term source loosely.
Yeah.
He was actually at the station today.
All right. He never made it into the studio that day.
Okay, so now we're basically just listening to a few minutes of a discredited liar.
Let's continue.
Was in a meeting. I was not allowed to report this on my own show.
Because you made it up after it?
Yeah, he's done, bro.
Yeah, he's gone, bro.
He did go to the station for a meeting. Was it after?
Yes, he was in a meeting. He was in a meeting today. I'm not allowed to say much about it at the moment
because I haven't thought out what I'm gonna
make. Yeah, exactly. I haven't written the story.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to wait a day or so until I say anything. I was not going to report it at all.
Solid journalism, right there.
Yeah. Thrown out on Twitter. But then I had to get out in front. So.
Yeah. He had to get back to his job bagging groceries. Sounds to me like Hoppy needs to throw some of his pills at this guy.
Maybe a sock full of bars of Dove.
Go Full Metal Jacket on him.
Yeah. So throwing out some speculation there, which I can confirm was absolute BS.
Outright lie. Yeah. Wow.
Not a lie, just maybe embellishing. Maybe he heard something, but he was like, well, I got to be the first guy to break the news.
Yeah, well, you know what? That guy's a real world shaker.
Sounds like he swallowed a whole handful of broken glass.
Yeah. Was trying to get out of a bag of groceries for the day.
Yeah. All right, so let's continue. Turns out that the president calls Joe, the president of the fan club.
Yeah, you're on the air.
What a glorious day. What a glorious day.
Yeah, well...
First off, I want to thank Jesus.
Yeah, all right, so he's off to a great start. Let's hear what else he's got to say.
Praise Allah. So, now you were the person that started, okay, even though you didn't really start it, you started hashtag Hire Hoppy.
Yes, I was asked by Hoppy to start it. And
so Ryan Hoppy asked you to start Hire Hoppy.
Yeah, he asked me.
What's wrong with asking for support?
He DM'd me, and I tweeted the screenshot of it, and he said that it's been it was photoshopped or whatever. Because that's what I do. I Photoshop screenshots. But
I've seen some Photoshop jobs. From
you. So he asked me to. I did it.
Yeah.
As a favor to him. I didn't really know him all that well. I'd heard his show a few times. I met him at Wilberfest previous to that.
Horrible.
Why would you stick your neck out for him, guy?
Out of control Brian Hoppy rants. I never listened to his podcast. I mean, I listened to a few, obviously, like for a few minutes, just to see what it was about. And I don't know. It was not listenable to me.
Kind of like you right now.
Exactly. The only reason we're talking about it is because you're discussing a friend of mine. It's not just some guy I know from the radio.
Right.
I don't know. It's just something different. Definitely different.
So do you have any inside sources or anything you want to reveal?
Oh, I'd like to hear this.
Well, first, I want to say I just cracked a beer in ode to Ryan Hoppy's radio career.
Oh, early.
Really?
This beer.
He said career as if it's over. This kid is 21. He's just getting started. He's got national heat under him.
Yeah, and being what it is, it won't be long. I mean, he'll need a little time to cool off, but he'll get another offer here or there
and
or
there's
something.
49 other states with 55 different radio stations in each one. You think it's going to be difficult for him to find a job? Not only that, he's got outlets. He can come back to Chicago to continue sharpening skills to get even further than where he was.
And that doesn't sound like the worst idea. I mean, a little seasoning out in the world could only help the kid.
No, that's what I mean, experience.
Yeah.
So it was
and not just radio experience, but I'm talking about, life
Worldly,
experience.
yeah.
Exactly. Because it doesn't sound to me like he's all that worldly to put up with that
you
kind
know
of
what,
garbage.
Donnie, we should take a cruise down to Cleveland and show that boy what's up.
Hey, man, we can do that. We
just
can do that.
take him to a few strip clubs.
Although, man, we're going to have to, ease him in like an old man into a hot tub, brother, because I'm sorry, I'm a professional partier and I can't go amateur, man.
Right, yeah. We'd have to pregame it a couple hours.
More. It'd be more of a tutorial. Like, sit back and watch how it's done, young
That's
man.
right. Shot in a beer.
Ali Boombaye.
That's right. All right, so let's continue with El Presidente.
Probably last longer than his career did.
Yeah.
I hope not.
Don't babysit.
And then
So yeah, that's Ryan. Well, no, I already said it on Twitter. One of my sources, a very,
Oh, boy.
very reliable source.
It must.
Boy, man, there's a lot of sources for nobodies out there. I got sources, too. He asked me for a quarter outside of 7-Eleven.
It gave me all the info I needed. All right, so why don't you just name your source, man? If it's that reliable, just come on and say who it is.
Good Lord
You're
Almighty.
you don't work for Fox or NBC.
I mean, talk about delusions of grandeur for crying
Yeah.
out loud.
Making it sound like you're more than somebody.
Yeah. I'm on the radio tonight and it's cool, but man, you're not going to see me beating my chest like Muhammad Ali in Africa after dropping Foreman, man.
Yeah. All right, so let's hear what his source has to say.
Oh, please, let's do.
Well, I won't say who it is as well.
Why not?
It has said that Hoppy got physical with Keith and
with
what's his name,
Sass Keith,
Mincer?
your phone cut out. So you said Sass Keith?
Yes, with Keith and Mincer.
Yeah, Gary Mincer.
It's being reported to me that he got physical with those two.
Wow, now let me ask you something, my man. Is
Okay.
this friend of yours the type to get physical with people?
This friend of mine has so many ailments that he is timid. He could not harm a fly.
He's an emotional eunuch, is basically what you're saying.
He's a gentle giant. The kid stands 6'7".
Real that tall?
Yeah, but
wow.
he was born with scoliosis, which
Oh my
means,
God, being that tall and having a crooked back. Wow.
Yeah, dude, yeah.
That's
So,
got to be hard. That's a hard situation.
a
man.
majority of his life, he grew up fat and picked on. He dedicated a couple of years of his life to losing that weight and getting down to.
And he did?
Yeah, he's down to like 240 now.
Well, with 240 at 6'7", that sounds pretty lean.
That's about almost normal, maybe
Yeah.
a few pounds heavier than he should be.
Yeah,
But
that's neither here nor there.
but he isn't a fighter. He's the most passive guy I know.
I mean, he's not even argumentative.
Well, I mean, when he's passionate about something, like if you try to argue about radio or something, he'll let you know what he knows.
Yeah, but it's not.
Never fisticuffs.
Well, even in the realm of verbal jousting, he doesn't get nasty or mean or
No, because
he stays on point.
Right, and then he'll eventually just be like, "Well, if what I'm saying isn't getting through to you, this conversation's over." I have to poo-poo on El Presidente here. He would not hurt anyone.
He's not that guy.
He's
right.
not that guy.
No, we need more guys like that in the world. I'll say that much.
All right, let's continue.
And how reliable is your
But
source?
Well, the source is pretty reliable.
Okay.
He's the laundry
Pretty
guy
right.
for the uniforms.
So he got physical with Sass Keith and Keith Abrams, which are basically the two highest people at the
Right.
station.
Okay,
And
why
those are the two people
speculate?
you don't want to act like an asshole in front of or get physical
Right.
with.
Okay, on top of announcing that his source told him that the reason he might have been fired is that he got physical, he's out there spreading it as if it's fact. Now he didn't lay out any disclaimers.
No, he didn't lay out any disclaimers, and I mean, again, the whole source thing sounds a little
Fishy,
vague. Yes,
yeah.
fishy at best.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. It wouldn't stand on its own.
I mean, it wouldn't stand on its own in the court of me.
And what,
you know what I
once
mean?
again, if they were officially under the umbrella of the station or the corporation, this could lead to litigation.
Yeah, because number one, usually places like that tend to handle these things in-house without any kind of media fanfare. So anybody that would leak a situation like that before it's been handled by the PR department of these places, that's going to be out on his ear, man.
Yeah, statements will be made.
Yeah, statements have been made, and they all sound like bull, man.
Absolute bull. All right,
Yeah.
let's continue. Maybe he's got something else. Maybe something solid.
You can get away with it maybe with Rover, maybe a little bit with Ballrag, but you get too crazy.
Right.
Now he's.
I mean, I don't know how true that is. I can't confirm it's 100% true because I
now the
wasn't there. I
disclaimer
didn't
comes
see
out.
it.
All right, so these are all just alleged speculation.
I guess I would have to say technically yes, but I'm going to go with it. Either way.
Oh, you're going to go with it?
Yeah. So why don't you just not go with it? How's that? You know, I can't confirm it, and it's pretty plausible that I can deny it.
It's the uncharted wilderness of morality.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm just gonna go ahead and throw it out there.
And if his life's ruined, I guess I'll apologize. I don't
Now,
know, right?
that brings me to another point. The fact that he said it leaves a digital mark in the internets.
Yeah.
So any future employers that go and look up Hoppy and they come back to this and they hear him say that I think he might have put his hands on somebody, but he didn't say I think in the beginning.
He said he did.
Yeah, my sources
His
say.
source said, which is as good as saying I saw
said,
him. Yeah.
That could keep him from getting a job somewhere.
And the thing about that too is, especially since you mentioned Google, situations like this are always going to be the first things that pop up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's not the kind of thing that's buried at the back end. You know what I mean?
But I don't know if these guys got enough heat to come up first in a Google search.
Well, yeah, that's true, but you know what I mean? It doesn't take heat. You know, you're looking up one person. You know what I mean? And
right.
I mean,
anything associated, and they do well enough to title the tracks to their shows. The Audacity of Hoppy, WTF Hoppy, Hoppy.
Yeah.
You know.
So you know, one way or the other, his reputation is kind of on shaky ground right now. And again, these guys have no credibility as far as I'm concerned, but it doesn't matter. You know, all you got to do is start saying things and. Well, you know what? It's like Lyndon Johnson said during the presidential election in '64 when he wanted to accuse his opponent of some just horrendous stuff. And his campaign manager says, well, that's not true. Lyndon Johnson said it doesn't matter if it's true. Let's make him defend it.
That's it.
And that's all you got to do is you got to put somebody on the defensive and you win already.
All right. So I think we got a Lyndon B. Johnson on our hands here. So let's continue. There's a couple more minutes here.
Fucker's gone. So, again, let's all just celebrate
rough,
that.
Man. Rough word for a man to use behind a camera.
I guess we'll just have to tune in tomorrow
Telephone.
for
Mike.
Rover. It almost seemed like I said this. I tweeted this. It almost seemed like he was doing damage control for Ryan Hoppy. So I knew something was up. I was going to tweet like, "I bet he's fired," but I
Protecting
can't remember
his
my exact
brand,
tweet, but
maybe?
I made reference to. Oh, look, Rover's doing damage control, saying I liked Hoppy because I can already tell he's trying to act like, "Hey, there was nothing I could do. It was out of my hands. I can't save his
Or it was
job."
over his
Even
head.
though when Alan Cox, the afternoon guy. When Chad Zumach got fired from Alan's show, I think Alan was on Rover for some reason, and he said, "Come on, you can save the guy. You know, it's your show. You can save him." And Alan said, "I did many times before, and I just couldn't do it anymore." Something to that nature.
Well,
so if Rover
it's kinda
really
like-
wanted Hoppy, he could have got some kind of suspension. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not going to argue with Rover. I think the right decision happened. And this was like an escape for Rover. This was like, all right, I don't have to be the bad guy. I can act like it was out of my hands. It may have been. I don't know.
So I guess it was brought up on Alan Cox this afternoon as well.
Right. So I'm assuming the
That he
meeting
was
was
fired.
probably this afternoon.
What's that?
I'm assuming his meeting where he got fired was probably this afternoon. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
So, and that's probably why Alan brought it up. Alan is breaking all the stuff. He broke that stuff that should be on Rover, I feel like. that Taint Smasher was leaving, even though Rover has no claim to Taint Smasher. He works for the station, and then he
love the names
reveals
of
that
these
Hoppy
guys?
got fired. Like, that's kind of weird.
Turd.
Do you think he's doing that on purpose?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So where do you think Ryan Hoppy's career goes from here?
Well, hopefully he doesn't have a long-term lease on that apartment.
I was thinking the same thing. He's fucked with that.
Well, I mean, you could break out of the contract, I'm sure. He probably did a 6-month. Anytime you're in radio, period, you always want to do short-term everything. So, if he didn't know,
Right.
if he got a year or more lease, he's an idiot. But
He's not smart enough to do that, though. He thought he was going to be the next big thing.
But honestly, I don't even think he cares. Say he did get a year lease and he has to break it. He's just not going to pay. This is the type of guy who doesn't care about anything. You think he's
Hold the phone here, buddy.
Wow, man, they're really kind of trashing this dude in the most like polite way possible.
After they pretty much know he's been terminated, there's nothing polite about that. Saying that he's just gonna duck out on his lease.
Yeah, and then that's the kind of thing that can really cause some serious damage to him long term.
Yeah.
With people, you
Well,
know what I mean?
Yeah, just trying to smear his reputation.
You know, I'm starting to get a little hot under the collar here, and this is not even a person I know, but man, I feel like he's being tossed to the dogs by a bunch of jags that couldn't get a real gig anywhere.
in radio.
Yeah, in life.
Well,
You know, these guys sound like they're living in their parents' basement, man.
but that's pretty presumptuous to say that he's just gonna bail on
Yeah.
his lease. And,
You know?
and,
And
not pay.
yeah, and how do you
What
know?
do you know about his financial situation?
And how do you know his landlord doesn't listen to your crap?
Yeah, that's
You
even another thing to worry about.
Yeah, exactly. You
All right,
know
there's
what I
only
mean?
there's only a little bit left here. Let's finish
Well,
up.
I'm getting a little hot here.
I don't think they're done.
really going to talk to the landlord and say, hey, I'm sorry, I got fired. I got to move back home to my mom's house in Chicago. He's just going to disappear.
His poor mother will probably get stuck with the bill or something.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She probably co-signed, and
Right, for sure.
yeah, she'll get foot with the bill. He's this type of person that would just get up and go.
Man,
How can you make that statement?
you don't even know the guy.
Exactly. You know him from his
His yapping on air.
and what does he do? Like 12 to 18 minutes on air whenever they ask him a question or whenever they force him to do one of these crazy stunts. Well, I shouldn't say force because he's a man of his own free will.
He does bear some responsibility for his own position, but it definitely sounds like he was set up.
You can't just make those assumptions
You know-
about a man's character.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that truly is slander. I mean, that's the essence
Plain and
of
simple,
it. Yeah, plain
yeah.
and simple. You know, and this is recorded. This is on air, and if anything happens, boy, these guys are going to get hit hard.
Yeah, but like I said, they're under no official umbrella of the show.
No, but we're not talking about that now. We're talking about the assassination of a man's personal character.
He also tweeted the fact his source said that he assaulted somebody. So it's out there in print as well as on digital recording.
So it's libel and slander.
All right. Well, let's finish up here. There's not much left.
I'm glad of that.
Yeah.
He doesn't care.
What a dick.
Well, we don't have to worry about him anymore, so.
I know, but I'm going to continue to follow him and torment him as long as I can.
All right. I've had enough.
Yeah, so have I. I mean, again, a friend of yours is a friend of mine, and it's time to, circle the wagons, man.
All right. So this guy says this isn't going to be the last time Hoppy hears from him. He's going to follow him and torment him as long as he can. In quotes.
Yeah.
You heard it
exact-
yourself.
Yeah. Now the guy just basically said, "Hey, man, I am going to illegally harass this man."
Following somebody on Twitter, bullying, cyberbullying.
Well, you know what? Well, they need to start, kind of reining this wild wilderness of vague harassment laws that pertain to the internet and what can be said and what can't be said, because there is really no true legislation about that.
All right, so let me close up here and mention the fact that Hoppy had came out and did a little 10-minute podcast after the show, after this aired, to announce to people that he's returning to his old show, the Hoppy and Super Rich Show. One of the first comments that I saw on Twitter about it, because it was retweeted by Corporal Commander of the fan club here, is that the president chimed in and said he blocked me right away. What a dick. What do you expect he's going to do? Do you think he's going to welcome you with open arms, especially after the statements we just heard you make?
Yeah. I mean, buddy, whether you were drinking or not, You set them, we got it, man.
Oh, that's an awful way to treat a human being
Yeah,
who is now down on their luck. So, I mean, there's a little bit left here. I want to play it out. Let's find out how this goes.
Yeah, well,
I want to be a pest on his side. I mean, I don't wish bad. I don't like to see anybody lose their job.
But
You just said you were happy about it.
yeah, and praise God, it's a glorious day, blah, blah, blah.
I'm going to harass this kid and just, come on, man.
You're a man of double standards here, El Presidente.
Man, let's not rope him in with our gender, okay? We're talking about a loser.
Okay.
It is bad for him, I guess. But
I guess.
I just don't want him working on Rover.
listen,
anymore.
it was better
I
that
guess.
it happened sooner than later, because say he got acclimated and adjusted, and he got a lot of friends here in Cleveland and things like that. It's better that it only happened within 3 months. It was like a trial. It didn't work out, and that's it. If it would have been like a 2-year thing, and he got a serious relationship, and it would be harder.
Probably the
'Cause
only
then he would be
statement
stuck
I
in
agree
Cleveland.
with.
Now at least he can move back home, and look at him. He just picked up right where he left off with his old show. I think he was even tweeting something about it, like him and the super rich guy. If I was a super rich guy, I would have been like, go screw Hoppy. But
What?
Now-
Yeah, all right. What the hell, dude?
Come on, man.
A guy he went to school with.
known his whole life, right?
I don't know how well they were friends outside of school, but they were together on the show for at least a year. And you think he's honestly going to say go screw when he comes back? Or how about if we were to do, because I was a producer of the Hoppy and Super Rich show.
Yeah.
And if we were to do a show on, say, Google Hangouts or through Skype, what makes you think that the crew wouldn't get back together? We wouldn't embrace him as if he never left. That's baffling. Why would you even say that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're talking about people that, again, don't have any real tangible things happening. So, let's, blah, 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 and shoot our mouths off about things we don't know anything about.
Anonymous creatures.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's a big shot behind the mic. Everybody's a phone banger. Everybody's a tough guy when they can't be seen.
Yeah, keyboard commando.
Yeah. I know the type,
All right, so he thinks that Super Rich shouldn't welcome him back. I disagree.
Yeah, so do I.
Hoppy has a little bit of heat under him, so I don't know.
Oh, well, now he's an experienced radio DJ, or whatever he'll try to say.
Well, he's always been, according to himself. So
Yeah, well,
He answered a fucking phone.
yeah.
oh my God.
Wow.
I mean, I'm really getting agitated. It's moron, I mean, you're gonna sit there and insult somebody who's actually doing something real with his life while you're just sitting there yammering on and on and on and on about what a investigative genius you are and your sources
Yeah.
and all of, and your insight into the man's inner workings. Wow,
Yeah.
brother, you are
Like,
some kind of phenom.
You know how he treats his financial
yeah,
responsibilities.
absolutely, man.
Or the
absolutely.
friends in his life, how he should conduct his friendships.
Well, somebody without friends would obviously not know what goes on with real friends and would make a statement like that.
Probably.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, so if you got any comments, you want to weigh in on the Hoppy saga, Hoppy, if you're out there, I'd love to hear from you,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. Come on, brother. Give us a call.